perception, I get you. But when people are held to a budget and they're not doing well with that budget, but there's no more money to be given, it's hard to say, but okay, you can't run within your budget and you've got to do what you think is right. It's a little difficult, I think, for people who don't know all the ins and outs to understand how that works. And I mean, I think the people of this county, whether we're right or wrong, deserve to have someone explain why this goes on, instead of letting them stew with the perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you come in, once I become sheriff, if I see something I know is wrong, I have to fix it, or else it's on me. Now, if the previous administration let it slide, then it's on them. But once I become sheriff and I come in and I see things that are not happening the way they're supposed to be happening, and there's some liabilities there, I have to fix those things. And those things cost money to fix. In the past sheriff turned in money every year. The issue with that is he didn't give people raises out of that money. He didn't fix the things that needed to be fixed out of that money. So yeah, he saved money, but he was just letting this jail and facility and this organization go downhill. Now I'm the new owner and I want to fix up the jail to where it's livable. And I want to fix up things where they need to be. And I have pictures and I'll show you if you'd like to see them. I don't mind. But I mean, it's really, we are blessed that we have not been sued. I'm just going to tell you. And that's going to hurt everybody. But in the end, when you see something wrong, you're supposed to do it right. And there's no excuse to say, well, I don't have money in my budget because the federal government doesn't care. And the last thing you want is the federal government to come in here and take your jail over, because they don't care, they don't mind spending your money at all. So it's a much smarter thing to do to go ahead and try to spend the money, come into compliance. And we've actually got to the place now where we're asking ACCG, who's kind of takes care of the counties and stuff, to have somebody come in and do an assessment of the jail to give a stamp of approval and to show that it's livable and it's properly done and everything's correct in it. And it helps us defend further litigations. Some of the other things we had is in dispatch, we had 4 dispatchers. We were 5 dispatchers short. We had one girl, she was working 47 days straight, 12-hour shifts, because no one else was here to work. You know, what do you do with that? You're supposed to hire people. You know, you're supposed to have certain people so people can have days off. These guys weren't having any days off. You know what a TPO is? Temporary Protective Order. There was a stack of TPOs about that thick that never got put on the computer. It's a major violation. That could be a $50,000 fine per. Never put them on the computer. Just didn't bother doing it. So we had to spend money and time this year getting all that done. Our last GCIC audit, we failed miserably. Terrible, terrible. This one we passed. And all the problems we had on it was from the previous administration that we corrected once we come in and found it. And when you get to a point where things are correct, it costs a lot less to maintain things than to do to neglect things and try to fix them later. And that's where we're at.
David, you didn't finish, I've heard you say this before, but I think telling people the result of not putting the temporary protective order in the system is going to result in...
Well, for the person who didn't do it, it can be 5 years of prison, up to $50,000 fine per case. And I think there was 15 TPOs that were still active that weren't on the computer.
But if I have a TPO out and it's not in the computer, and this person comes to my house, and I may not get the help that I need, and I want that.
The way it's designed to do is you get a TPO, once it's served, it goes back to the communications and 911, it gets put on the computer. If a deputy runs this person's name, he'll show an active TPO and tell you who the victim was, and that means the person's not allowed to be around that person. What was happening, because it wouldn't get on the computer, is someone would call and say, hey, this guy's at my house, and they check TPOs and it doesn't show up. And what's supposed to happen is the person's supposed to go straight to jail. The reason for a TPO is it's a temporary stopgap for a judge to hear your case for a protective order, and in the meantime, make sure that you're safe until you get to court. That's the purpose of a TPO. That's why it's treated so strictly. And that wasn't being done. And I mean, there was a lot of violations. I mean, it was bad. I was going to be honest with you, it was bad. And I'm trying to do it right. I'm trying to get it where it's done correctly. And I'm trying to get you professional people down here who are doing the job for the right reasons, for the least amount of money of anybody in the area. And that's a difficult combination. The other side of that is looking at proceeds and also looking at revenues from the jail and stuff. The sheriff's department makes money. They make money by housing inmates out for other people. It's $35 a day. They had down around 100,000 is the estimate for that. We're almost already at 200,000 this year. By the end of the year, if we can see, right now we got 31 people housed out. For every 8 people housed out for the entire year, that's $100,000. And we're sitting at 31 right now. If we continue that through the end of the year, we're trying to be $150,000 to $180,000 over the 100,000 we already had estimated. That goes towards the overage.
You can average the 131, you'll be at 161 by the end of the year.
Yeah. And then you also have commissary and other things, and the more people you have in the jail, the more commissary you sell, the more phone calls you make, all that, a percentage goes to the general fund from those items. The sheriff office brings the money in, but all it goes to the general funds. Then you got probate court. Probate court, we don't police for profit. You know, we give people 15 miles an hour on the speed limit. We're reasonable in our enforcement, but a side effect of that enforcement is money is brought into the county through probate court, through fines. And I think we figured 200,000 for probate, and I think we're close to that already this year. And that'll probably go up as time goes on. There's a new law that allows people 3 months to pay a fine. And so really, you start seeing our citations showing up around March, and then they have 3 months to pay. So really, the fines really start coming around June. And the way that's looking, you know, if everything continues, we're gonna be in good shape there. So when you say we're way over budget, yes, I'm spending more money, but I'm bringing more money in. It's a balance, you know.
So what you're saying though is at the end of the year, on December 31st, you will not be in the red.
I don't know. I can't tell you that. Because you don't, it's hard to tell you, most time projections are done through history. And historically, the sheriff's office has never been run the way the sheriff's office is ran now. And the proceeds have never been what they are now. And the amount of money we're making out of jail has never been what it is. So you don't know what it's gonna be. We'd be in better shape next year to tell you financially what to expect, because this is all new ground for everybody. I know proceeds from probate court, January under the old regime was $12,700. Last month, I think it was what, 46,000 for 1 month? So you see, I mean, it's offsetting, and you know, it goes on like that. So the whole goal is, for me, is not to cost the taxpayers any dollars. But I have things I need to fix. I had about $48,000 in one-time things. And I don't know if you got my presentation, but I had that list in there from the commissioners.
Yeah, I went through it and I saw the money that you spent on uniforms. I was trying to figure that out. But,
Well, my philosophy is if the Little League football team has matching uniforms, the sheriff's office probably should too.
you know, but it's kind of strange to spend the money on uniforms, not have money for bulletproof vests. I mean, you would think that, you know.
Well, you get people what they don't have. When I walked into the jail the first night, guy had on boots, tore up blue jeans, a rebel flag belt buckle, a baseball cap, and a shirt. I asked the folks why the guy wasn't in cell, and he told me he works here. I'm not okay with that. Professionalism starts with appearance. And we're gonna have a professional law enforcement organization in this county. They need to look like it. And it's easy to dress somebody up and make them look nice, but then you have to put the training in, the time into developing, being the kind of people they should be.
I mean, I agree you should look professional, but wouldn't it have been, you are over your budget in uniforms, right? I mean, that's what I determined from the presentation.
That is part of it.
And I couldn't understand why.
Being
you
over
wouldn't
budget is
spend the
relative,
money on
because being over
bulletproof
budget
vests.
is depending on what you come in with proceeds and revenues.
Yeah.
And what you can balance it off with.
I also read that you said that they didn't go to your drug areas and they obstructed
It's true.
investigations.
Yeah.
Well, that's an obstruction of justice charge. How come Mr. White didn't investigate?
it's
I mean,
not-
I was on the grand jury.
It's not obstructing justice, because the sheriff, if I want to tell my guys not to go to an area, as sheriff.
No,
I can
but
do
you
that.
said they obstructed.
Well, they told them to stop investigation.
Yeah.
A sheriff can do that. A sheriff can say, stop investigating, we're not gonna look into that. A sheriff has a lot of power in those areas. What you want is a sheriff who's not going to do that and let things go the way it's supposed to go, and things are handled the way they're supposed to be handled. That's what you want.
Well, White didn't investigate any of that stuff.
What's nothing to investigate?
Yeah, there is. If somebody's not if a crime's been committed, and they say don't investigate, that's an obstruction of justice charge.
Well, we'll agree to disagree.
But then, go
I have
ahead.
a couple questions too. In the paper, it said that someone else was hired in the probate court billing. Is that a new position, or is that somebody to replace Kayla's going to the probate judge?
I don't know I'm not familiar with what you're talking about.
I thought one of the things in the paper said that an additional person was added to the probate court.
Historically, the probate judge's office has had 2 employees in addition to the judge.
Right,
Judge Miller started out with just 1 employee and just recently added a part-timer.
right, so we haven't increased that at all. I didn't think so, it just read, maybe it's the way it read in the paper.
Well, it's an increase from the beginning of the year, but
Yeah.
it's just adding a part-timer
Yeah,
to
that
cover down on
makes
some of the
sense.
traffic court.
Yeah. But it's really not, it's not the
I'd like to
increase.
back up and address your comment, Victor, about being over. We don't know whether the sheriff's gonna be over or not. We had budget hearings a few weeks ago. And, you know, that was what we're trying to figure out based on best projections. Our best projections was it's gonna be over by 175,000. But if we continue to have 31 inmates a day, and we continue to have $30,000 a month versus $25,000 a month in proceeds from probate court, then I think there's a reasonable chance that he won't be in the red. So it is unpredictable, but I will tell you that it's going in the right direction. And I know all that's confusing, Mary, but
It isn't so much confusing, I mean, you know, you can't compare the library or even the volunteer fire department with law enforcement. I get it, it's just, to be able to say to a county that has, not many resources, I get to spend whatever I think I need to spend. And it's a kind of, and to protect you people, of course I want 911 to come when I call.
Key there is need.
And of course
It's
I-
need, not want.
Well,
That's the judgment.
I need 911 to come when I call them. What I'm saying is it's a little overwhelming that it can just be, I get to say what I need, and you guys are gonna have to figure out a way to pay for it. And the other things, when we talked about quality of life, maybe next year it'll be better. Maybe the year after that, if things go well, it'll be better. But it just seems a little, it's just, I'm not confused. I'm just trying to take it all in.
Yeah.
That's all, yeah.
Can I make a comment, please?
You can.
All right. I'm Jason Taft, I'm the chief deputy.
Uh-huh.
I just want to try to help you get a little perspective. I think the thing the major difference with any law enforcement agency is the liability. And when incidents happen, like the shooting of the guy, the log truck, that whole incident with the folks from that office, yeah, Paul's place, that costs the county money. It costs the taxpayers money, and it has to come from somewhere. So the way we combat that is through training and experience and making this the most professional organization we can. So there is a huge difference. There's not a lot of liability at the library, and I don't take away anything from them. I think they
No,
deserve every bit of
And
money
liability,
for the kids, but
I do.
that's the perspective
It
we look at it
is,
from.
yeah, I get that, I really do. I know that things have to be done according to the law, and I know there is a liability. Part of it is, and I'm new to this
Yes, ma'am.
meetings, and I've lived in this county for 42 years, and I never, and I'm not even being funny. It sounds like we're in, this place has been a real disaster for many years, and I was unaware of that. I've seen, you know, I actually one time called 911 and got a good response several years ago. What I'm saying is, it's for people, it isn't as simple as perception, but a lot of people in this county didn't feel the way you're presenting it that we maybe should have felt, like, things need to be done correctly. I wonder if things can be done in stages, maybe not. Maybe everything has to be updated right now, get it done. But I'm just saying it's a difficult,
Absolutely.
what you'll find is, we spend a lot of money at the beginning to put the fires out, to get things where they needed to be, to have the staffing we needed to have, to properly staff the jail, and to make sure that the major liabilities were taken care of. I had people come and walk through the jail and say, hey, this is the issue, and identify outside of myself, people who've been doing this for a long time, this is their specialty. Tell me what needed to be handled immediately, and give me a time frame on when it can be handled and what needs to be handled next. And we try to do it in a manner that was very logical and very methodical, but at the end of the day, it couldn't wait till next year. It needed to be done as soon as possible because we're experiencing liabilities if something were to happen. So we had to fix some things. On the other side of that is, I can't spend whatever I want. And that's where the remedy to that is a mandamus. And most times when you see a sheriff that has gone against a county, either the county or the sheriff has asserted a certain amount of influence that they shouldn't have, and it comes out to that. So the whole key is to make sure what I'm asking for is reasonable, and I have numbers to back it up, and I have logic to back it up, and I can show the purpose for it. When we're looking at the number of staff I did a workload analysis. I had somebody come in, looked at the number of calls we had, did it for free. Guy does it for a living, but he did it for me for free. Didn't cost the county anything. But he said, he took the number of calls for service we had, their counting and other factors, and said, this is how many deputies you have. Should be 18.9. So I'm asking, I just want to pay 12. So to me, 12 is reasonable when we're supposed to have 18. What I'm asking for is not out of the question. We did an analysis of pay because I want to make sure what I'm asking for is reasonable. And that's my job, is to make sure I'm not asking for more from the county than I should. And if I should, their job is to tell me no. And that goes from there as far as the budget process. But most time, when you look at what's reasonable, as long as you can justify what you're asking for, they tend to agree with you, as long as they're getting their money's worth. They look at value for the dollar. Or what am I getting for my money? You know, if next year we're paying $100,000 more than we are this year, what are we getting? And that's the question most people won't answer, because most time they really don't realize how involved and how many things we do in the community behind the scenes and stuff. We're going to start having people who want to do ride-alongs come out and do ride-alongs with us, because I don't think people have a clue what goes on in this quiet little community. You know, it's like you go to a theme park, it seems everything's really well organized and well done, but you go behind the scenes and there's a lot of hard work to make it look that way. You know, we want this to be a peaceful, quiet community, but we're having to run and do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure drugs aren't here, people aren't stealing stuff, people aren't driving down the roads ridiculously, you know, and make sure that the community's safe. So there's things you have to do to give the appearance that everybody else sees. And one reason I don't have to be here, I do not have to be at this hearing, but if I'm asking for money, I feel like I should be here for the public to ask me questions, because I need to answer for them. And if you have a question to ask me, I should be put in a position to explain myself. And I feel like that's only fair.
Just addressing the issue of liability. We all here have liability. Every department has liability, even the library has liability. It's the job of the sheriff, just like it's my job to create an environment where that liability is acceptable. You can't eliminate it, it's always going to be there. Anybody who says they're going to eliminate liability of the sheriff's office, it ain't going to happen. Anybody says they're going to eliminate liability with EMS and 911 or road department, ain't going to happen. But you have a personal responsibility to minimize that to some standard that you're comfortable with as a person who is in charge. The other side of that is that consistent with what the public expects? I don't know the answer to that one for everybody, but I think that's a dilemma that I always have to deal with. I'm sure that's the dilemma he has to deal with. So, but understanding that side of it is important. And that's the reason we have these hearings. That's the reason we have budget hearings. That's the reason you can call us and voice those opinions. You shouldn't have to wait to places like this there to share that information. So anyway, liability is always going to exist. We just have to try to figure out where the fine line is between what's tolerable and what we can go to bed with every night and sleep. As the one who owns it. Now, you have to pay for it. We own the responsibility. I don't wanna go to jail, and listen, I'll tell you right now, you know, I'm not trying to defend nor throw blame on anyone else, but I've been in a situation where a man died under my watch. I don't ever wanna be there again. I promise you, if I can't do what it takes to make sure that doesn't happen again, then I will not be here. I'm not saying that's what's happening right there, but I'm just telling you, that's the level that we have to deal with. So,
And to have a defendable position, your position has to be defendable. You have to show that you showed discretion and that you tried to make it within reason as far as liabilities go and limit those liabilities. And usually when you go to a court, that's why we have people come in and look at our facilities and say, hey, they made the effort, they even had us come in and inspect it. It helps us in the future as far as any type of litigation or something to show that we're making every effort to be in compliance with what we're supposed to be. And it's hard. It's never going to be perfect, but you just want to make it defendable and that you're making the effort.
and the other thing I'll tell you is no matter what we do, whether we agree that the budget's too high or we think it's not high enough, there'll always be those who disagree. That part I can tell you. Listen, I appreciate everybody's discussion. Kathleen?
Yeah, I have another quick question, Billy. First of all, I do support, if we can do anything for the library, that would be great. I would like to see us think about in the future ways to put more money into that facility.
Yeah, well, you know, that came up this morning, and we had discussions with Gene and representatives from the regional library system, and, you know, part of what we did do this year is provide $7,000 or a little bit more than that for the signage, but, you know, when Gene sits here and says, well, you know, we only asking for $2,000 more, that's in addition to the $7,000. You know, so, I just let that one go by this morning, but I'm hearing it again. I just want you to recognize that you're really not asking for
Maybe I'm confused. I thought on our fundraiser, we raised 7,000 and that I mean, I know we did, but then I thought the Pines, the Athens, Clark County people matched that for sign. I thought that's how we
Well,
got that money.
what the deal was is, look, we could give a matching portion for that sign for $7,000. We really didn't have $2,000 to give you an increase in the budget. If you take that money that you raised to match with and you put it towards the budget, then we would take the $7,000 from the SPOS as a matching portion. And we would do the sign. You wouldn't have a liability to the sign. You could put whatever you want of your $7,000 towards the budget.
But I mean, am I correct in saying that we raised 7 and I
I
was.
think that was your intention, Mary, but what I told Gene was we could, you know, we don't have money to give you in the general fund. We have money in SPOS that we could match
Right.
and help you get a sign. You know, the
I thought
matching
we
portion.
had the sign. I may be wrong
I
here.
thought you guys
Don't
have a
have-
sign out there.
No, we raised, with the spring fundraiser, we raised $7,000 in the community. And I don't know the correct name for, a lot of the library systems in the 10-county district, there were matching funds available. If we raised 7,000, they would match 7,000, and we needed that amount of money for a new sign. So it was my understanding that's how we got the money.
That was the purpose for which you raised the money, but I don't believe that's where your money's going. If it is, we won't be writing a check.
No. I mean, I'm gonna have to talk.
Yeah.
I thought we had the.
All I'm telling you is we committed $7,000 and, you know, what you're really asking for is 9 versus 7.
Well, yeah.
So,
We're getting a new sign because, I mean, it's not the same thing, I understand, but we have the most amazing person running our library, making no money at all. But what they would like, what they asked for, and what we're trying to do is put it, a lot of people don't even know there's a library there. The signage, the granite rock with library on it isn't readable when you're going by at 45 miles an hour or whatever. So we're gonna put a sign out that also says, you know, teen night is Thursday night and we're having book club. I mean, it's something, this is part of
more
quality of life.
marquee
quality of life. But it's not, pardon me,
I don't like, the electronic ones.
it is.
I thought that, is that permissible?
Well, we're looking at that.
Well, the high school,
I don't think that's,
the high school has one.
I think that's a kind of.
So you have, but the other thing is, and again, I think initially what we're gonna do is just put on the top of the building large letters that say library.
Yeah.
So that when you're coming down the road, you see the library.
But, you know, not to go get more deep in the
Yeah.
weeds, but my point, Kathleen, was that there is funds contributed every year. You know, it's been in the way of, you know, putting new roofs on, putting new air conditioning units in, changing and painting and redoing the facade. And so there's, you know, constantly something going on in addition to what you see in terms of the immediate dollars there. You know.
And I don't know any of the details, I just like the idea of supporting an institution.
And all I'm telling you is I feel a little bit raw when it's suggested we're not even gonna give you $2,000, when the reality is 3.5 times that committed.
Well, I wasn't
It
going down
wasn't
that
recognized.
pathway. I was just supporting the idea.
And I don't think anyone is saying, I am not pointing fingers or saying I'm just saying it is, in a county with the resources we have, it is a very difficult line to walk as to who gets what. I think I completely understand that. And it goes back again to what I consider important and what this woman considers important and what Victor considers important. And we have to come to some terms with that. I understand it. But I think that it's.
And you know, Mary, many times we'll make a decision and none of you will like it. Not a single one will like it.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I'll be real reserved. I live in the county, I'm a lifelong resident of the county, I've got a home in the county, and some real estate. And do I want to see my property tax raised? No, I don't. But I'm realistic too about the situation. I think the county's done a good job of holding the line on spending, and there's a lot of different factors there. It's like if you're in business and your hospitalization bill goes up 10%, you've got a certain budget, you can't go over that. You've got to cut somewhere to pay the hospitalization. It's like whether you're I've got a full-time job, I know some people on retirement income, we all have limited income. I mean, it's either here or here, but it's still limited. We don't have the resources, the demographics, the commercial or residential development or retail development like Oconee County. I'm just picking them out. Do I want Oglethorpe County to grow and be the best it can be? Yes. The one thing I would say though, is, in paraphrasing someone else, is I think we need the best government we can afford, whatever that is, because if it goes up 9-point-something% this year, hypothetically, will it go up that much or more next year? And if you're not getting more income off of whatever property is or your home, which is not necessarily for income, there's a cut's got to come somewhere. So I'm not unrealistic about things, but at the same time I'm concerned, you know, that there's kind of reins on spending too. I mean, it's like I said, as a homeowner and the landowner in the county. That's really all I have to say at this point.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm very proud of the fact that over the last 8 years, we haven't raised your taxes. Your millage rate has not gone up and our digest has gone down. Typically, you'd have to raise that millage rate just to maintain the level of revenue. That doesn't mean the budget hasn't increased, because it has. It's increased. It's increased every year. It went some to the library, some to the fire department, some to the sheriff's office, some to the jail, some to the 911, some to the roads. And it's been doing things like creatively reducing and downsizing where it was necessary in the downturn in the economy, and taking and eliminating positions and subbing some of that out. Now time's coming back, we gotta fix it again. Yeah, I envy the revenue that they bring in Oconee County, but I don't want to be Oconee County. I think the people of this county said that they don't want to be Oconee County. You know, but we can't live the Oconee County lifestyle without that revenue. You know, and but as I mentioned before, you know, that's been our philosophy. I think I know that's actually their philosophy as well. And, you know, I will tell you that, and I do believe that the intent is there to try to make that happen. And the verdict's still out. It may very well happen. And if it does, this $175,000 will be a rollback next year. You know, that will be a rollback. So we won't be back there again. In fact, it'll go back a little bit beyond that. And hopefully our digest will increase, so maybe it'll go back even more, or we can expand into some of those areas that have suffered. If you just look at a stable budget over the last 9 years, when, while our digest didn't increase, inflation continued